Creativity. For many of us, creativity seems like a big mystery. Some people just get these great ideas, while some don't, even if they put great efforts to understand their subjects. There doesn't seem to be any logic to it. In a way, that statement is true. Randomness is required for creativity, but the rest is actually very simple and pure logic. If one wants to develop something new, there are two ways to go on about it. First, one may deduce things from one's current knowledge. There may be things no one has yet realized about it. This isn't really inventing anything new, but rather just understanding the currently invented things better, which is of course development, but can't really be called creativity. And this way of deduction is also always limited to things that can be deduced from one's current knowledge. And unless you have all the information in the world in your head, there will always be things you won't realize using this method. The second way is to gain new information. But there's a catch to this. This new information, by definition, can't be deduced from one's current information. That means that this new information must be random to the one who gains it. It's not new information if you already knew what it was like. That also means that one cannot say beforehand whether or not the new information is any good. Whether or not the truly new idea one gets actually works. This means that in order to not develop things in a random way, which doesn't produce anything of value, one must have a non-random system by which he selects or interprets the random information that was gained. This systematic selection of random information should sound very familiar because it is the exact method that evolution uses. Random changes to the genome and the natural selection of those changes. Darwin came across a much more important idea than he himself realized. Because new information is always random by logical necessity, and some kind of a system is always needed to select or interpret this new information to prevent the development to go in a completely random direction, systematic selection of random information is not only a way to be creative, it is the only possible way to be creative. Now, evolution is just one possible application of this creative process. Different methods can be created by changing how the random information is gained and by changing how it is selected or interpreted. All creative processes must still contain both gaining the random information and the systematic selection or interpretation of it. Different creative processes have different potential and are not equally efficient. For example, evolution is a very slow and wasteful process that is limited to things that can be achieved through small increments to previous creations. Then again, humans can achieve new ideas by various means. For example, by going to an unknown environment, by listening to other people that think differently from you, or even by getting wasted in a bar now and then. The whole idea that we should get some distance to problems we are stuck with and do something else, and then the answer will just appear, is based on this fact that the answer is somewhere unexpected, somewhere random. And if you think about it, all human creativity is in some way related to not being too systematic about how you get your ideas. Creative madness, so to speak. Now you know the reason for it. But the real prize in humanity is not how we get our new ideas, but the system by which we select good ideas from bad ones. We run simulations in our head about the ideas we have, aka we plan things. For example, a chef may get an idea to mix some ingredients in a new way that has never been tried before. But before he does, he simulates in his mind what might happen according to his current knowledge, and by that he may choose whether or not the idea is even worth a try, and what kind of problems it may have. It turns out that those ingredients would be poisonous together, and so the chef can dismiss the idea without any harm done. Prior animals couldn't really do such a thing, and they suffered the consequences of needing to actually try every new idea they had. This selection of new information by simulation is what makes us humans special. Of course, many other species like monkeys and dolphins can do this to some extent, but humans are the first ones that use much of its extraordinary potential. Let's recap. 1. There are two ways to develop new things: by deducing things from current information or by getting new information. 2. New information by definition can't be deduced from current information and is therefore always random. 3. Because this new information is random, a systematic method is needed to select or interpret it. Otherwise, the development would go in a random direction. 4. Therefore, the only way to be creative and develop truly new things is the systematic selection or interpretation of random information, the same method evolution uses. 5. Other creative processes can be created by changing how the random information is gained and by changing how it is selected or interpreted. For example, humans are especially good at developing new things because they are able to choose good ideas from bad ones by running simulations about the ideas in their minds. If you found this interesting, subscribe, share and like, and have a nice day.